We'd like to thank Torah Anytime as well as shul.com and Shadei Ezra. Today is Chet Tevet Tavshin Pei Gimel. Today, according to the Mesorah, was the day when Talmei HaMelech took all the 72 Chachamim, like the Gemara and Megillah tells us, and put them in different rooms and told them, rewrite the Torah in Yevanit, because the Gemara tells us that it was considered like a lion that was roaming the streets, that Klal Yisrael had this unbelievable secret called Torah Kedosha that we had, that was giving us substance and meaning in our life and giving us a mandate for what it was to bring light to the world. And the Yevanim obviously wanted to have some type of knowledge of that, and therefore Talmei HaMelech took all the 72 Chachamim, put them in separate rooms, and demanded that each one of them translate. And if anyone were to deviate and say something different than the other person, he would have killed all of them. And therefore the Gemara tells us that they had to translate. It was considered a very dark day. And it was very well known that Rav Hutner, that's how he used to say a line. He said, having 72 Chachamim in 72 different rooms and all of them saying the same thing, that's not a Chidush. The Chidush would have been if they all been in the same room and they all would have agreed. That would have been a bigger Chidush. But that's a little joke, he said. But the point that basically is that it was unfortunately a very dark day. The Gemara tells us that 8 days of darkness descended upon the world, showing that Kadosh Baruch Hu was very upset that this unfortunate incident took place, because now the masses of the people, they were to claim that they're the chosen people and the Jews are not the Jews, they're the Hebrews, the Israelites. They give all these different weird terms for how the chosen people somehow magically, poof, no longer became the chosen people, which doesn't make any sense. Anyone that goes through the Bible, you could ask Yirmiyahu, or anyone that they go through the Bible, just doesn't make any sense when you look through it. I'm sure you could say that. It doesn't make any sense when you're looking at it. It talks about the Hebrews, the people, and then like, okay, what happened? Oh, Hashem says he's going to destroy everyone, but he said, Salachti kedvarecha, I forgive you. So suddenly that part they don't forget. But it's very interesting that they don't really, anyone who is honest about it and wants to look through it will see that. But the point is that now even the Greeks had access to it, and it was a very unfortunate day, and many tzaddikim on this day of Chet Tevet, they have a ta'anid. The halacha is that normally something that is maziklo, something that hurts a person, immediately it's asur for a person to be mevarech. The most prime example of that, the Gemara tells us, is if a person were to drink olive oil, although technically we find that grapes, like we said, when you make, bless you, when you make a grape, and you eat a grape, you make a borei pre'etz, if you were to squash the grape and then drink from the juice as it's dripping down from your hand, you'll make borei pre'agefen. Why? Because when a grape gets crushed, it goes a higher level. The same thing says the Gemara. Also, when you take a zayit, when you take an olive, you crush the olive. Technically, if you were to eat an olive plain, you shouldn't do that because it's very bitter. But if you were to eat an olive plain, you'd make a borei pre'etz. However, if you were to crush the olive, potentially you should make a beracha above that, because olive oil is something that's considered very high. However, says Gemara, angiron, which is considered this energy drink or that they had made out of olive oil, if you were to drink that, asur levarech, it's asur to be. Why is it asur? Says Gemara, shedavar maziklo. It hurts the person immediately. When you drink it, already you feel like your body's on fire. It's not good for you whatsoever to drink olive oil straight. You should try drinking it with something else if you have to. If not, you don't make a beracha on that. So, having said that, here's the question. Question number one is, what would be if a person, let's say, let's say these charuvim, which is considered a bakser, right? So charuvim, actually, some people eat that for health issues, but the problem is that many people, after they eat it, they get upset stomachs. And many people, they feel very constipated, people feel a lot of pain. So the question is, do you make a beracha on that? The answer is, says Yakut Yosef, yes you do. Why? Because for some people, when they eat it, they actually enjoy it. So, bishat maaseh, as they're eating it, you make a beracha. What do you mean? 10 minutes later, I'm going to be writhing in pain. But right now, you're enjoying it. So if right now you're enjoying it, you do make a beracha. Second example, people do not know this, the Mishnah Berurah brings down, in Kufayin Dal, the Yakut Yosef brings down, that really a person should try not to drink any water before shacharit. There are people that come in with steaming hot cups of coffee. I don't know if coffee is included in that. But he says, if a person drinks before they pray, right when they get up, it could really throw the body out of whack and make the body not respond properly. You take it a little slow, maybe not have a drink right away. So that's what Mishnah Berurah says. So now the question is, let's say I'm thirsty. I want to drink. I would like to drink something, right? So do you make a beracha? The answer is yes, you do. Even though later on, potentially, it may throw your body out of whack. But right now, I'm enjoying it. So since right now I'm enjoying it, you will make a beracha she'akol, according to many, even though he says some people argue and say you don't, because chacham eina b'rasho, you know that in 20 minutes it's going to be very, very, very difficult for you. However, right now you're enjoying it, so yesh v'yesh, there's some people that say you do make a beracha, some people say you don't make a beracha. The point is that when you make a beracha, it has to be an enjoyable experience. Parenthetically, they say people who were in the Holocaust, and they wanted to know when the Nazi officers dafka served them non-kosher meat, and they told them this is horse meat, and it was pikuach nefesh, what they do. So what, do they make a beracha or not? Again, that's talui in that machloket. Do you say you make a beracha on something, it's like, I can't believe I'm eating this, but I'm so, whatever, it's pikuach nefesh, so they're not enjoying it, you don't make a beracha. But according to other people, they're like, well, what can I do? It's soup, or whatever it may be. I have to make it. So you do make a beracha. So each one is, but if you understand that both opinions, then that will be fine. The Bnei Yisachar tells us, when it says the word Ezrat Avotenu, it says Ezrat Avotenu. So why does it say afterwards, Magen u'Mashiach lahem v'livnehem? Which one are you? Is the Kadosh Baruch Hu an Ozer, he helps us? Or is he somebody that's Magen u'Mashiach? Is he one that protects us and saves us? Says the Bnei Yisachar, he tells us the following. He says, Ezra, to help somebody, that means you're always there to help, even if they don't ask you. You're there right away. However, Magen u'Moshiach, Moshiach means Ein Moshiach la. A woman got grabbed, and she unfortunately was in a situation that somebody was hurting her, and she tzaka, she cries out, Ve'ein Moshiach la. No one is there to help her. So what does that mean, Moshiach? Moshiach means there's a situation, someone's crying out for help, then Moshiach said, then someone helps you. So like this, the previous generations, they were Ezrat Avotenu. They were so close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu right away helped them without them even saying anything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because we were close with him. However, Livneim, for the children, they're like, we don't need to take it, we don't need to be so machmir, we don't have to be a fanatic, all those different things. We have to be like our parents, take it a little loose, we're in fill in the blank country, wherever you want to say, and therefore times have changed. We don't need to do that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was like, oh, you know what? Okay, bechavod, as I tell people. I learned very quickly, bechavod means go jump off the lake, right? You know, go jump in the lake, right? It's bechavod, right? You go, what up? Oh, bechavod, please. So the same thing too. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, bechavod, please. You will think you're going to do that? Right, go ahead. Ah, Hashem, please help us. Okay. Magen u'Mashiach, now he's going to save us. So that's Ezrat Avotenu. You have to ask yourself, which one are you? Are you Avotenu? Or are you Lahem v'Lavneim? Which one are you? Are you asking for HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ezra afterwards? Just two more ideas with this will conclude. It says when it comes to Bikuach Nefesh, when it comes to a person's life at stake, we say that a person has to do the Aveira unless it's one of the big three. And I tell the big three, a very easy way to remember is Rashi Tevot, aim. A-I-M. The person takes a gun and says, I'll shoot you right now unless you do this and this and this. You tell him, aim, go ahead and shoot me for A, adultery, I, idolatry, or M, murder. Adultery, idolatry, murder, A-I-M, or if you're from Miami, M-I-A. But anyways, the idea is that aim, you tell the person, go ahead and shoot me. Those three, your person is mechuyav. So the question is, how does that work? What's this mechanism work? Although the Shiva asked this question. How does that work? If a person says, I want you to commit adultery, right? So you tell a person, kill me, right? So now you come up to the pearly gates, and when you come up there, they say, what happened? You're supposed to be there for much longer. You say, what do you want from me? A guy put a gun to my head. He told me I had to do this very bad sin. So what was I supposed to do? So like this. Doesn't mean it's nidche, the tzivui. We push away that tzivui of you, v'chai b'hem, you have to stay alive. In other words, you have to give up your life for this. This is not a question. But you really should be down there, so it's sort of like a ta'ana against you. Or do we say, no, hutara means that we completely negate that you have no right to live anymore. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, you're off. Basically, you don't have to worry about it. Hutara, it's allowed. What's a nafkamina? Nafkamina is, are you mechuyav to put yourself in a situation where you know you'll have to give up your life? If you say it's a dichui, it's a push-off, so 1 second, you're supposed to be down there. You're not supposed to push off you have a mitzvah to live. But if you say hutara means it's allowed. You're allowed to do that. Why not? Hashem allowed you to do that. So also over here, they allowed you to do that. And therefore, that would be a nafkamina between, if you say hutara duchuya in that case. Just to conclude with this idea, it says that when Yaakov was approached by his son Yosef came in, and Yaakov got up, and he bowed in front of him. The problem with that is, in last week's parasha, Parashat Vayigash, the Targum Yonatan tells us that Hashem punished Yosef because when Yosef was meeting Yaakov for the first time in 22 years, Yaakov sees that there's some Egyptian monarch coming. He thought it was Paro or someone like Paro, so he got off the Agala, got off the wagon, and bowed in front of this king, not knowing it was Yosef. Says the Targum Yonatan, because he didn't stop his father and say, Abba, what are you doing? Don't pray. It's me, your son Yosef. He didn't stop him. He allowed him to bow in front of him. Hashem punished him that he got 10 years knocked off his life. Really, he should have lived for 120. But Hashem took off 10 years for allowing that to happen. What's the cheshbon? 10? Whatever. We don't have time to get into that. But he says, I have to bow. So he got punished. How come over here he didn't get punished? You see over here, he did this exact same thing. He sees Yosef walking in, he bows in front of him, and suddenly that's okay. Why is that okay? So I believe this is based on an idea from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and I'm adding my own, which is that when he came in, Yaakov bowed in front of him. Says Rashi HaKadosh, a very interesting thing. Tale v'idna stagile, that at the time of the fox is now his time. What does that mean? Says the Midrash, 11 months of the 12-month year, the lion is the king of the jungle. He's the king of all the animals. 1 month of the year, the fox is. What does that mean? It's a mashal for Yehuda and Yosef. Yehuda is basically the predominant leader. Yosef is the dominant leader only 1 month of the year. And therefore, when is Yaakov giving that honor of a melech of Yosef? Right now. He's coming in, he's a melech. I will show honor to my son. Tala ve'idna stagile. Look, it's the time of the fox. Fox referring to Yosef, that I'm going to bow in front of him and show him, it's your time right now. Why did he do that? Says Lubavitcher, a beautiful idea. Because Yaakov had to give chizuk for his son. He knew that when he would die, Paro said, you're not taking him anywhere. Oh, no. We're going to make a shrine. We're going to make Yaakov a god, and we're going to keep him here. And Yaakov had nothing to do with that. Bury me in Eretz Yisrael. And he says to Yosef, he says, I want you to swear to me that you're going to make... Why do you swear? Answer is, you're going to have to get me out of here. You promised me you're going to get me out of here. But Yosef, what's he supposed to do? After his father died, how's he going to get him out? So Yaakov says to him, you know what, swear to me? But now, that's the negative. But the positive, Yosef, you're not only my son, you're the king. Look, your father, I'm bowing in front of you, acknowledging you. You have the power. You could do something great. So I'm bowing in front of you to show you that I believe in you, you could pull this off. In other words, giving him that message, I'm bowing in front of you, you're a king. So once he gave them that chizuk, now he was able to do that. He knew his son was able to do that. It's such a powerful lesson, which is you should empower other people and tell them, you could do it. Don't just look at me, you could do it too. I always tell you that. Any rabbi who's worth his weight in gold will tell people, you give this shiur, you give the program. What do you mean, the rabbi's not doing it? And the answer is no. A smart rabbi understands, you could do it too. You could be a great person as well. And you now have the tools. You could do that just as good. And hopefully good people will come around you and be mechazek you in as well. And you could become great. So hopefully, B'ezrat Hashem, look towards empowering others. Everyone should be empowered themselves. And Hashem should give us a fantastic day. Rabbi Chanani ben Akasha Omer, Ratzah Kadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Yisrael lefikach v'lam ta'am mitzvot, shenema al donech v'etzem atzikol, yadil Torah v'yadir.